Hi to you 13 students. I wanted to take a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, to go over with you how to write this proposal for skill set 1 and some of the things that I'm looking for in the proposal. So this is your first skill set. You'll submit it to the drive. There's a folder called skill set 1 proposal. You should submit it there. Be sure to put your name in the file so that you don't overlap with anyone else's submission. Okay, so skill set 1, you have to write a proposal, and this proposes the research that you want to be doing for the next few weeks. You want to pretend that this proposal is going towards is going to meet, but it's going towards the scenario that you've come up with for your big research project. It helps you to develop the topic and to profile your potential audience. In this section here on the handout for this week, there's a what to do. It asks you to write a proposal telling me what your problem is, so the problem that you'd like to solve. Some tentative guesses, so that just means, come up with something that you think might be the case now, it could change later, about the root causes of the problem. So why is this a problem? And the scope of the report, that means what types of things will you be researching, in what domains? And then finally, who are the people who will read this report? And that's who are your audiences. Okay, I say a little bit more about audience profiling down here. Reading pages 84 through 91 in chapter 5 will really help you. It will take you through some steps of how to profile your audience and the types of things that you should think about. One of the most important things is that your audience should not be general. Please don't say your audience will be the public, general people, people who drive. That is too broad. It's not specific enough. Your primary audience is going to be a decision maker. So it's going to be one person you hand your report to. They're going to read through your report, and then they're going to make a decision about, yes, we should do this solution that this person is recommending, or no, we shouldn't, right? So that's the one decision maker. Your secondary audience will likely be other people who will help that one person make a decision, right? So people who are helping the decision maker. And then the tertiary audience, the third audience, will be others who will likely read the report. Now, general people don't really read recommendation reports. They're too long and they're too technical. So stay away from general people. They will not be your audience. I have an example of a proposal here. It's a student example, so a student wrote this. And we're going to take a look at how they fulfill the guidelines that I've outlined up here and how they don't, right? What can be improved. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to read through this proposal. So go ahead and pause the video now, read through it, and then we'll talk more about it. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video. Hopefully you read through these 2 paragraphs. It will only take you a few minutes. So let's just go through it line by line or sentence by sentence. We at the PTA at Willowbrook Elementary School will write a report recommending the construction of a school garden exploring the problem of lack of nutrition among kids in the public school system. Okay, so they're really saying 2 things. One, they're saying they're going to explore the problem and that they're also going to recommend the construction of a school garden. So they're telling you what they think their recommendation is going to be at the end, and they also tell you about the problem. You don't need this first part. So don't tell me what you think you're going to recommend. I mean, you can, but you should probably save it for later because that's the conclusion that you will draw after you do your research. So don't put it here first. But mostly what I'm interested in is what problem are you going to explore? So this person says they're going to explore the problem of lack of nutrition among kids in the public school system. Okay, so that's a great problem to try to solve. It's interesting for people who are interested in pedagogy and also people who are interested in public health and nutrition. I can see that the student would be engaged and interested in this topic. They go on to say nutrition and health is a big problem in the public school system. Okay, so they're saying in general, nutrition and health is a big problem. That's why they're going to explore the lack of nutrition among kids there. So they're just generally stating what the problem is in this next sentence. Then they say, many of our students do not maintain healthy weights or levels of outdoor activity. So again, they're just talking about what the problem is. It's not just a lack of nutrition among kids. It's not just nutrition and health as an education problem, but also that students are actually heavy or overweight, or they don't have enough physical activity. So they're expanding on the problem. All of this is talking about the scope of the report. They go on to say, many haven't been exposed to healthful lifestyle choices or developed an understanding of where food comes from. Okay, so they're starting to explore a little bit of the root causes and more of the scope here. So I can tell that this student is going to be doing research about public school systems in the US, because this student was in the United States. They're also going to be researching about nutrition and health, and with nutrition and health in the public school system. They're also going to be looking at kids, right? Kids' weights. They're going to be doing some research about what a healthy weight is for kids and what healthy levels of exercise or outdoor activity are going to be for kids. So they're narrowing down the scope of their research just by, in these few sentences, by telling me what they're concerned about. They also say that many students haven't been exposed to healthful lifestyle choices. And a lot of that has to do with the family or at home or what parents are teaching them, and also at the schools. So they might be doing some research in the domain of pedagogy or child psychology, how kids are raised and what is the best way to raise them, especially around their own bodies and their own health. And they say that they don't understand where food comes from. It's likely that they're also going to be researching within the scope of nutrition and the sources of nutrition, where food actually comes from. Okay, next they say there are many reasons why this might be the case. And one of them is the lack of opportunity during the school day and poor integration of nutrition curriculum into class. Great, so I can tell that their scope is narrowing even more because they think that one of the root causes might be education itself, and that there isn't health education or nutrition education built into curriculum. If they're identifying that as one of the problems, it's going to narrow down the scope of their report a little bit. They say, a school vegetable garden where students can grow and harvest foods would expose them to eating fresh fruits and vegetables and get them moving their bodies in the outdoors. Okay, great. So they have come to a conclusion at the end of this paragraph. Their conclusion is that this school garden might address all of the aspects of the problem, right? So it might solve all of the scope of their research. But first they have to do the research to try and figure out if that's really the case. All right, so in this paragraph, I got a sense of what the problem is that they'd like to solve, some tentative guesses about the root causes of the problem, and I got a lot of the scope of the report. Now what I'm looking for in the next paragraph is the audience, so let's read that. They say, the primary audience for this report will be the PTA and the school administration, see Figure 1, since they are the decision makers about programs such as this. The secondary audience will be teachers, parents, and potential sponsors or donors, so maybe people who will help the program happen monetarily, and since they are usually consulted and weigh in on curriculum changes. Finally, the report could be read by other schools interested in implementing school gardens into their curricula, so they suspect that this report will act as a model that other schools might be interested in. Okay, there are a few problems here. There's some passive voice in this paragraph. There's also an expletive here. In the handout, I talk a little bit about that expletive, how you can turn it around, and I give an example. So take a look at that. I also have an example of a graphic. So I want you guys to make some sort of graphic. It does not have to be these concentric circles. You can give me some other graphic that shows the hierarchy of the levels of audience. So I want a first, second, and third level of our audience visualized some way. So all of you have put data into some visual form before, I think. This is just one very simple way that you can practice visualizing hierarchical data. All right, let me know if you have any questions. You can post questions in the news forum at the top of our Moodle page, or you can email me. Good luck, everyone, and thank you.